Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is episode 2 of our Atlantis Challenge City Skyline campaign. We left off having just basically begun. I'm gonna fling the camera over to the corner for a moment as I go ahead and turn the volume up a little bit. Alright, that should be good. Anyway, we left off with a much better plan than on the first take. We are basically going to expand the main portion of our highway through here in order to hopefully avoid bad traffic in the later game. For this current period, we have a decent amount of cash, no real demand for anything residential, commercial, industry. I forget where we're at. We have healthcare. We vaguely have a fire department. We have enough police. We barely have enough schools. Oh, but not enough in the way of high schools. So we'll build a cheap elementary school. Probably build it on this end since all the others are built on the other side. And then we'll save up our money to buy the high school. If we take a look at loans, we did take the 60 grand loan. So we are kind of in the hole for that. Luckily, people are deciding they want to move in now that they all have at least elementary school educations. And instead of paying back our loans, I'll go ahead and build another Japanese garden. We really do need to get another Japanese garden in right here. Really beautify that area. But it can wait. We have a lot of debt. Other than that, we can really just speed this along. One of the things we are going to want to do is take advantage of all of these forest resources, which I believe we have the technology to do. We do, in fact. So let's go ahead and add some districts. Well, let's take a look at this. I mean, we can just fill this entire area. Whether or not we put any industrial in it is a different question, but we can still fill it up and mark it all for forest type. I believe that comes with some downsides as well as some bonuses. I know that's an incredibly vague thing to say right now. I will, once we're done making this region, take a look at what exactly we are achieving with that. Bleachwood Heights. Alright, so forest. Forest industries specialize in forestry to take advantage of renewable woodland. Alright, it's renewable, so that's good, we'll have it forever. Slightly increased electricity consumption. That should be fine if we get more money. Increased tax income, there we go. And requires a forest, which we have quite a bit of. Alright, so we are essentially good to go. Electricity-wise, we are actually right on the verge. Water-wise, we are also getting pretty close. Education-wise, we still don't have enough. Well, we actually probably do have enough money for a high school, but it doesn't seem like a priority at the moment when we're about to run out of power and or water. So, let's see. We can build a new power station. We'll build it matched up with the other. That should be roughly the same. I don't know, I don't want to risk accidentally building a road over it, so we'll just put it there. Slightly preempt that need. Now we can go ahead and... let's see. Hopefully I'll get a refund if I do this. Nope. Okay, well, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. I really don't want to upgrade from dirt roads prematurely. Luckily we still have power for all of this. One of the things that the original maker did was, the map maker for this, one of the things that they did was start pouring water into this natural aquifer because they were able to get it to drain in. So as the world flooded, they were able to just push water back into the aquifer. So if we were to replicate that, the easiest way would probably just be to turn the sewage right on into there. So if we buy another section, which I believe we have the right to, and we do, then we can just start draining the ocean to give water to all of our people, which I believe we nearly need to do. Go ahead and purchase that. It might be a little pricey to build out the water connection. Just get it as far out there as we can. Alright, slide that connection over. There we go. And now, we'll just move this guy right back where the original was. And we don't have enough money to get any more of our water system set up, and apparently that didn't hook into the grid. So, you know, nailed it. Alright, but that's good. Now we don't even need to worry about bringing power over there. The sewage slide is, I guess, just sort of slinking away. Water doesn't really slink, but oozing out. So it looks like it killed literally all of the grass in this area. Just destroyed it all. I'm not sure if regular water would have done that, or if that was purely because it was just sheer pollution. And sure enough, it did leave a little trail of pollution. But I wonder if that'll just kind of go away on its own with time. Well, at any rate, we're now polluting away this natural aquifer, but that's something that had to happen. It needed to be done for the sake of our people. Because by sacrificing that little reservoir, we buy ourselves some ever-precious time. Because that's really the thing. The water level is still rising, maybe slowly, maybe very slowly, but the water level is going to rise and eventually flood our city. So, apparently that was too far away. So yeah, even if it means turning an aquifer into just kind of like a sewage pond, it is probably still better for us to turn the aquifer into the sewage pond rather than, you know, let the water level rise. And also the water would be polluted when it came and flooded the city. So, you know, in a way this is even better. Although, you know, obviously still not super ideal. At any rate, we'll take a look at this. So we can realistically fill this whole block with industry, which means we should probably move some area for commercial, because I believe industry feeds into commercial, which is partly why this area works. So what we'll do, I know this is wasting a little bit of that ever-precious money, but we'll just move this a block over, and we'll set ourselves up a little commercial zone. We'll make it 3 wide. I know it's been 2 wide all over there, but this one will only have it on one side, so I feel like that balances out a little. And resource-wise, we're just out of the most intense resource zone. So we'll just go ahead. We don't need to worry about maintaining these power lines anymore, which actually works out really well. So we'll go ahead and drag this over, and we can even get just a massive... Oh, messed that one up a little bit. But we can just get a massive residential area here. I mean, I really don't see why not. I mean, I guess technically we could carry it on all the way up, but at that point we might run into some issues with just the height of it, as you'll see right there. I mean, that didn't really affect buildings, but it had the potential to. Water resources wise, let's actually get in front of that this time and get people their water beforehand, unlike that moment in episode 1. So look at that, learning from the past. And now this is such a large residential area that it takes 2 clicks to get through. Go ahead and get that industrial sector set up. And we will go ahead. And we could actually probably set this up in a slightly different way than the rest of the area. So there, that kind of works. That might be a bit much, but we'll see. If it messes up the industry, then we could always just redo it. Hopefully it won't. Go ahead and set up commercial areas in these 2 places. And we don't really have very much money at the moment, which is not super ideal. Let's double check. Okay, all of this should be lumber style work, okay, and I believe that is all green, so it shouldn't pollute at all, which means it should be totally fine to have it just right next to all of our residential buildings. So all of that should work in our favor. Traffic wise, we do have some issues, but it isn't anything too serious, so it should be fine. And we are already going as quickly as we can, so we'll just see how it plays out. And once again, we're not going to expand into this area because we're going to... Wait a minute, did that truck just pull in, then go around? Okay, why not, I guess. At any rate, we have more demand for residential areas. We do have a little bit of money. Arguably, we should be saving up for that additional high school. You could make the argument that an additional high school to meet demand is more important than some Japanese gardens. I would, well, I guess I could see the reason behind that. Nevertheless, we are going to make some Japanese gardens. And since these dirt roads are basically free, we'll just continue to set up new routes and just kind of plan this whole area out. Alright, well, it basically just follows this line, which was more or less the plan anyway, so no need to really worry about it too much more. These will just be 2 more commercial areas. You know, maybe we could even carry this one out. I guess that does interfere with the plan to just have this be highways. And we have unlocked busy town, which means oil, which I don't think we have. We can free public transport, which we don't have. Ban heavy traffic, which I think would only be good for a few roads. And then we got a bunch of fancy roads, and the oil power plant might be helpful. Alright, cool. Oop. Let's not use any of these fancy things if we don't have to. So with the highway, when we do expand it, we could just run it through here and then down and across. We might have to destroy some industry buildings in the future if we decide that we overdid it. But until that decision is made, may as well just leave it alone. So we'll just get as much industry as we can in this area. Make sure to give everybody their water. Did this break? No, it's just the electrical system not having power. And, okay, yeah, we have a bunch of money because we upgraded just recently. So, cool for us. Alright. So yeah, we'll just use that money to expand, and look at this. We will build that second high school we needed. And you know what? If this is going to be a really big residential area, you know, I almost feel like we should split it up just so I could put a school in the middle section. But there's already a bunch of houses, and we would have to tear them down in order to really get the location perfect. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. It doesn't matter. We'll just carve through right there and give people easier access to that school. There's no reason why those residential areas need to be one long stretch, especially if it just starts interfering with, you know, actual things people need. And we do still have that massive loan, so I probably shouldn't have blown that money, because that maybe wasn't the best long-term plan, especially if we do run into some sort of emergency, like running out of electricity. And we'll just speed back up to 3 speed. And when we're at 7,500 people, we will unlock high density, really just everything, high density everything. So hopefully we get that in the nearish future. Traffic, surprisingly, still good. We can buy new land, which I don't really see the need to do at the moment, seeing as, well, let's plan out our expansion a little bit. So at this point we just have one big clump of residential that kind of jaunts off over to the side. Industry is doing all right. They need more workers, which is pushing for more residential, which is coming in fairly quickly. Electricity is going to be an issue pretty soon, and there's no way we can afford an oil power plant, so we're just going to sit on our money. We're making $5 grand a week. So let's do some quick math here. In like less than 6 weeks we'll have enough for the oil power plant, and we'll just go straight to it since it makes 120 megawatts. Oh, and it takes water, so that's good. Every amount of water that we use for literally anything is less water in the sea surrounding and attempting to encompass and absorb everything, basically. Now, what I'm saying is, let's use as much water as we can as wastefully as possible, basically. Just because it is the exact opposite of a limited resource right now. So let's see. We already have way more water than we need. Electricity still is the big thing. We are 4 weeks away from being able to afford more. We don't have any cemeteries, so we'll actually build one of those. People are actually really stoked to have a cemetery near their home. So, sorry guys, but I'm just going to build it out over here since it doesn't get in the way of anything. And, I mean, I guess happiness from that spread a decent ways. We can always build another one over here, and that seems like it would cover the rest of the town, or we'll just build a crematorium once we get to 16,000 people. Which feels like it'll be worlds away, but who knows, might happen in the nearish future. I'm going to keep building roads because they're dirt roads and it's basically free to do that. Alright, so we'll fill all of these sections in with industry. It seems like the game wants industry, but potentially not the type that we have everywhere else. And, yeah, I guess that fills out this area. I guess we could technically add another little section. Seems a little much. Actually, wow, that works pretty well then. So yeah, cool. We'll just have to move this at some point, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Everywhere needs more workers, which means we need more homes, which means, oh, you know, we're still worried about electricity. So I need to stop building all of these things and just give our society a little while to generate profits. But, yeah, I'm not sure if I brought this up. but the maker of the map said that there is a 3-hour grace period, essentially. We are 50 minutes into this campaign, so there should be another 2 hours and 10 minutes before the floodwaters arrive. And apparently we need another landfill. So, you know, I can actually probably take a loan and then just do both right now. So we can take this 20K loan. We'll go ahead and build the power facility right now. Alright. So we can build it up to... Oh, does it not want to quite go? We can build it that far. Of course, that knocked all the power out. We'll just rebuild that guy. You know, I guess at a point there's no real reason to expand it over the sea. Hey, but that worked. Alright, what did we need? We needed another landfill, which we'll just kind of put over here, kind of in the back. We might need another graveyard, but we can wait for that for a while. Residential is the only thing being demanded, but we have plenty of space. Nice. Alright. I'm honestly tempted to move this, but what we really need to be doing is not spending money. So we can look at traffic flow. It is still going well, although... You know, it's actually going surprisingly well for how packed these roads appear to be. I guess they don't have stop signs or even... Well, they don't have stoplights or stop signs. And those just say the speed limit. Huh. Alright, so we've got a little Ancapistan going on with our road network. But, you know, it's working. It is working very well. Cool. Looking at the map, it does show as red, but red appears to just mean high traffic, not so much, you know, problems. Because, yeah, there's cars on it basically every moment, but they're not getting held up or anything. We are still running on a lack of labor. Or, the issue we're running into is the lack of labor. So let us expand the housing market. Hopefully with enough places that they can live. Oh. Really, we have no need for these. Okay, but yeah, if we build up enough places where people can live, hopefully more of them will move in and start living here. Which would be very good news. We'll just have to remember to give them water. Which, hey, cool, we've already got mostly set up. And by building it like that, we kind of future-proof it a little. I will only build water for the residential for the moment. And there we go. A little bit more issue with garbage. Hopefully the second garbage place fixes that up. Our police department apparently needs more jails, but we need to pay off our loans before we really worry about anything. which I guess I should have been thinking about instead of building all of these. But at this point we've got plenty of water, plenty of electricity. We have enough elementary schools, barely enough high schools. We can't even build universities, so it doesn't really matter too much. Garbage will hopefully clear itself up in a moment. Worst case, we could build one closer to this part of town, or, let's see. Kind of bummed that that would destroy that, but I think it already gets enough power from the things around it. Yeah, cool, so we don't even need those power lines anymore. It is all connected. So we won't destroy those manually, but we'll just not worry about them. Hopefully that means that the garbage trucks will go around this way, and in an ideal world, and it looks to be the case, some of those trucks are going that way too. Because I guess the big worry is now trucks are going to be going up this way, and potentially crowding around. This is the start of some trouble, man. But when we upgrade this area, that should get rid of any negative stuff. Let's see, we need to get to 7,500, and then we'll be able to do this high density stuff. So let's actually dezone that, because that can be our first high density. And then we should probably build a high density neighborhood, like an area designed for high density stuff. Which we would have to do somewhere pretty high up, which is really where all of the city is currently. This part is an unfortunate little dip. So it looks like that's probably the best investment. Well, we'll double check the terrain, because this has that huge drop, so if we build anything there, we would have to build it soon and get ready to abandon it soon, because the water levels would get there first. Over on this side, though, it's a much gentler incline, although if we did build, we would have to build on either side of the highway, but we would get control over the highway. So it's doable, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. We already have 45k, so we'll just save up until we can purchase back, or pay off, rather, the 60k loan. Then we'll worry about paying off the 20k loan, and hopefully by then we'll have hit 7,500 people, and we'll just get that large influx of cash, which we'll then be able to use. So it looks like we have a bunch of abandoned buildings, which isn't too great. People worried about fire safety kind of has me on edge, but we'll worry about that when we're out of debt. And we are getting close to the amount of people that we needed. Elementary schools, we still have enough. High schools, we barely still have enough. So yeah, we should be okay. How much money is left, I wonder? Cool. We were able to pay that off slightly early. And now we just need like 15 more K, and we'll be able to pay off the other loan, and then we can start spending money again, as if it never even mattered. Now, an interesting question is, should we upgrade these low-density residential areas, or leave them? Oh, and there we go. So now we can zone high-density, residential and commercial. Really, all sorts of things. And we have a nice influx of cash, so let's go ahead and pay off that loan. Cool. Alright. Let's get some high density stuff going on. We will build an extra high school. We'll build it right here. And an extra elementary school, because if it's high density, we're going to get a ton of people. And it looks like these people need a little bit more work on their educations anyway. Get them some Zen gardens, or Japanese gardens. Really class up the place. That's interesting that it let me buy that even though it put us into negative money. Alright, and that handled most of that. And of course we already spent all of the money we just earned. Next stop is 11,000 people. And